It's the Infinite Podcast. Go tell your friends. It's the Infinite Podcast. My God, it never ends. It's the Infinite Podcast with Rob and Cork the Kid.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Project Infinite Podcast, the podcast covering the infinite and ever-expanding multiverse of fandom for movies, comics, TV shows, video games. We got you covered. We got a little bit of all of that today, to be honest with you. I'm Rob. I'm here, as always, with Court. And Court, Transformers.
They're robots in disguise, if you
Robots in disguise.
Yeah, sometimes they disguise as cars. Sometimes as cheetahs.
Cheetahs, apes.
Apes.
Galactuses.
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage could be a Transformer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're going to talk about Transformers Rise of the Beast in our third straight movie review.
Yep. Get ready for a lot of movie reviews.
Yep. So, yeah, Transformers Rise of the Beast as hit theaters. Transformers, I guess, in in a conventional sense, in kind of a contemporary sense, is really the standard of the summer blockbuster in many ways.
Yeah, I mean, this franchise in live action has been going since 2007, which is even insane to think about. And look at us in 2023, and now we're getting tried and true, focus on the Transformers movies. So
this is the sixth live action Transformers? Seventh?
Yep, seventh one.
Crazy. And they're,
Definitely. I don't think there's any signs of slowing down either.
No. Apparently this one, The Rise of the Beast, is the first of a trilogy, a new trilogy.
Yeah, which I think that they're going to give the director, Stephen Gable Jr., the keys to the castle at this point.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about Transformers, all the best moments, and definitely a couple very, very interesting spoiler bits that we'll get to. But first, we do have some news, starting with some breaking news earlier today, and appears that the writer's strike is affecting everything. So obviously we'll talk about the Marvel stuff, but I mean, Avatar has been hit probably the hardest by this because of how laid out the sequel kind of plan was. So all of the Avatar sequels have been pushed back. Most notably, Avatar 5 will now be releasing in 2031. So
I'm gonna be with AWA by the time that movie comes out. This is insane.
Yeah, that's massive. The Star Wars movies that we talked about a couple weeks ago have all been pushed back to 2026 and 2027, respectively.
Right. The only movie out of that I'm concerned about is Filoni's movie being pushed back that far, because I don't know if you can survive. I mean, they're going to, because these projects were so popular, and obviously we're going to see with Ahsoka, but I am a little concerned that it's going to be Ahsoka's going to come out in 2023, and then we're going to have to wait till 2026 to essentially get the payoff for that as well, too. So that's the biggest tip, because I'm not surprised that I'm fine with, the Rey movie, the new Jedi Order movie coming out in 2026, I'm assuming.
Which Idris Elba might be attached to.
Which I'm in on that. Idris Elba's a great person to bring into a franchise, because he did it in Star Trek, he did it in Fast and Furious, and now he's going to do it in Star Wars.
He did it in Dark Tower.
Yeah, you put him in a sequel, it's kind of cool too, because he's already kind of in universe somebody, and it's not somebody you really got to dive into. He just is going to have a reveal at some point in the movie. Star Trek is the biggest culprit of that. But we like Star Trek Beyond. I actually found that movie to be pretty fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that Jedi Order movie, and then James Mangold's, Dawn of the Jedi movie, probably going to be the 2027 release, because those are the two December ones. So I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, the only thing I'm really concerned about is Dave Filoni's movie, and kind of, can it hold out that long and have people still engaged by the time 2026 happens? Because you don't know what happens. This movie can get delayed even farther after that too.
Right. This is only the baseline.
Yeah.
Right? This is only the first delay that's years away.
Right.
So, I mean, who knows what could happen between now and 3 years from now, 4 years from now.
Or 8 years from now.
James Cameron. The Batman got delayed.
Don't.
To just got nuked into orbit.
That one hurt me so much. That one hurt so much. What? So 2027?
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A 6-year jump in between movies?
Yeah.
And I thought a 4-year jump for Nolan to take from 2008 to 2012 was that was a hike. I'm not going to count Avatar because obviously that's a different circumstance, but that's a while in between sequels. And maybe, we're in this land where we're getting, from this big franchise we've been watching since 2008, we've been getting 2 to 3 movies a year, and now we're getting TV shows to bridge the gaps in between those. But yeah, that is, it hurts. And it's, the only thing I can say is this Gotham show. I don't know the Gotham PD show. I don't know, in the Penguin show, which they were already shooting. So hopefully this comes out on time. Maybe that helps. Maybe you add Robert Pattinson into that show just to give him something to do. But yeah, that's
not a bad idea.
Yeah, this is the penance of the writer's strike. You're getting your movie franchise that you're just getting into, and that have to compete with some of these other ones. Now they have to wait, and that's what you don't want. That's what I'm super concerned about the Batman for.
Yeah.
And especially while the time, and we didn't even get anything about James Gunn's movies in the new DCU. That might be one of the biggest hurts right there. So,
yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting time for the next handful of years. And then obviously Marvel probably got hit the hardest, obviously because of how their business model is projects being announced so far ahead. Mm-hmm. So I'll just start at the top. So there is one notable move ahead, not a delay, and that's Deadpool 3 has been moved up to, I think, the original Captain America slot.
Yeah, May 4th, 2024.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. So this movie is 11 months away, which is even insane to think about, because what was the new release date? It was like November 2024, I think, or like almost 2025 you're reaching. And now this movie's coming out in 11 months. Like, that is a huge jump. So they might be ready on some things. I think they probably wanted to do that so they can lock up some people to be in that movie so they didn't have to worry about, freestyling the scripts, things like that. Awesome. I'm hoping that, in my mind, what I think is this movie has some things in it that are going to send people to the moon excitement. So that might hold the gap hype wise to get them over to 2025 and 2026. That's in my mind kind of what I'm, conspiracizing, new word alert, about.
Yeah, that's possible. I also think this movie benefits from kind of, even though it's going to be like Deadpool's technical first appearance in the MCU, it's also at the same time kind of existent outside of like the MCU continuity.
Sure.
So it feels like this feels like out of all these movies, the one that can afford the most to kind of slide around.
Right.
Because I don't think it's going to like, the timeline of Deadpool 3, I don't think is going to matter too much.
Right.
So I think they're just like, if we can afford to throw, because I do think they needed something to move up to that May slot, and none of these I don't think can, like the ones that have got delayed. I mean, Captain America was there, and that obviously has been delayed again for a reason, so they needed something to slide into that May slot, and it feels like Deadpool's probably the most ready to,
that's what I think
and
too.
be the most able to.
I think it was the most ready to move up to a slot where they can afford to do their things.
And it's probably the lowest budget out of all of these.
Yeah, I mean, what are you doing? It's basically a buddy cop between Wolverine.
I don't think the first two weren't expensive.
And that was like the big conceit of those two movies, is that they were cheaper, but like in the first one, Tim Miller was really doing a great job with a lower budget too. So I can definitely see that part about it just being ready to go. Because what are you doing? You have two main characters. You have Owen Wilson in there, and then you have, your cameos galore. Like, I think they're going to run through all the X-Men movies and like try to get, like we said, like Halle Berry, James Marsden, they're going to probably try to bring them back.
Yeah.
So that's not going to cost you like $1 billion to do that. So
yeah. So Deadpool got moved up. Captain America 4, hilariously enough, after the Instagram post last week by Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford, and Marvel was like, but Captain America, new title, is coming out in May, and now it's been pushed back to August 26th of 2024. And then, I mean, interestingly enough, just 4 short months after that, less than 4 months, the Thunderbolts will be out.
I don't think that's going to stick. I don't think those dates are going to stick.
Probably not.
I think they're gonna push the Thunderbolts into 2025 and have it be like the Ant-Man slot of it's probably gonna be the February-March slot of 2025.
Well, it's funny you say that because Blade is scheduled for a Valentine's Day weekend release, February 14th, 2025. So that's when Blade is tagged to come out.
I don't think that.
I think that Blade movie's gonna get sent to the moon.
Yeah, I don't think that movie's got a light of day for a couple of reasons. So very unfortunate because obviously I want to see Mahershala Ali and he's so involved in this project, and then I want to see Kit Harington as Black Knight again. I think the two of them together is going to be pretty cool.
And then the three things. So we have. After Blade in February of 2025, Fantastic Four will be the big May movie of 2025, which makes sense.
Yep.
That's really going to be their big one.
I think they're going to hold that day. I think that date is going to stick.
Yeah. And then I think we talked about this the day of Comic-Con when the Avengers movies were announced, and we're like, wait a second, there's two Avengers movies coming out in the same year? And I was like, absolutely not. And that has borne fruit as not only is Kang Dynasty not coming out the same year as Fantastic Four, it's coming out a year after. So it'll be May 2026 for Kang Dynasty, and then a whole year to Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yep.
I said from the beginning that there was no chance they were going to do two Avengers movies in the same year. No. I didn't even think they were going to do Fantastic Four and Avengers movie in the same year. None of that.
I didn't think we were going to get a Fantastic Four movie before we got Secret Wars, to be honest with you.
Right. So the two big Avengers movies have been pushed back. Obviously, I still think there's a Jonathan Majors massive question mark hanging over Kang Dynasty.
Yep, I think that's why Kang Dynasty got pushed the way that it did, is because of that very fact.
Yeah,
yep, 3 years is crazy, because I think they had their original plan, and it was going to have to do with something of him being a descendant of Reed Richards, and I think they're going to switch their entire plan. So if they can push this back, possibly find a new actor and give it space. I just think they want to have time for people to like forget about him and then get somebody new into the role. I think that's exactly what they want.
Yeah, I agree. And then obviously Secret Wars being pushed back to 2027. I mean, this is, again, I've talked about this before about Marvel's kind of penchant for their new penchant for planning and being like, this is coming out this day, this is coming out this day. Like, you can't say that.
Right.
Like, you can't say that with any certainty.
Right.
And it feels like this kind of phase, these sets of phases, more than the others in the past, have been most affected by outside circumstances and delays. So, we'll see. I mean, I think they're rapidly learning a lot of lessons over the last couple of years.
Yep.
So,
and I mean, this whole idea that they announced Secret Wars, like, very, very early. Like, we didn't even know what the second Avengers movie was when the first Avengers movie was coming out. Like, we didn't know any of these things. So the more surprise and delight way is dead, and that's just modern society. We've grown beyond that. I said it a couple weeks ago, like, I feel in today's day and age, like, I feel like I've watched movies before I go to the theater. Even all the ways I try to avoid it, I feel like I watch movies before they come out. I know everything about a movie before it goes out. Like, I can't just, like, that's why I kind of liked when I went to go see Top Gun. Like, I didn't know a lot, and I just went in, and it was just, surprises of all surprises of a movie. Like, all these fandom movies, like, I already know. Like, I kind of know, like, what I feel is going to happen is going to happen. Like, there's no more secrets to be held, because scoopers, like, this is their entire jobs. Yeah,
that's the kind of internet era culture that we've grown up in. Moving on to the CW. So, I know you're going to be heartbroken to hear this, but Gotham Knights has been canceled.
What? How could they?
A one and done.
They canceled cinema.
It's a one and done. I don't think anyone's too terribly surprised by that. And I mean, we talked about.
I'm terribly surprised by it.
Okay, everyone except for you is terribly surprised. But we talked about a couple weeks ago that the CW was kind of doing this toss up between Gotham Knights and Superman and Lois because not because of quality, but because one was cheaper to make basically than the other. And it appears that the CW has found a middle ground between those two things. So Gotham Knights has been canceled, and Superman and Lois has been renewed for a 4th and presumably final season. That will be 10 episodes, and then ... it will be on a reduced budget from the previous 3 seasons. And I'm like, I don't know.
New season, but at what cost?
At what cost? Yeah, exactly. So I think what I had seen was the predominant kind of effect this is going to have on the show is that it's going to reduce the number of cast members.
Yeah, they said their main cast, like your series regulars, are going to get reduced down, and I'm assuming it's going to be, the twins, Lois, Superman, and probably John Henry, depending on how the season goes, and his daughter. That's probably about it. And then and maybe General Lane, depending on what you want to do. And then you kind of, I'm not caught up. I'm like 8, if somebody died or something, I don't know. But I'm assuming it's going to be the 4 of them, like the family, the super family. And then there's probably going to be, like I said, his daughter, and then John Henry Irons are going to be like the safe ones for a season 4.
Yeah.
And then whoever like the main villain of the season is going to be, which is probably going to be Lex Luthor.
Yeah, because he's showing up now.
Right. Yep. That's what I've heard.
Towards the end of the season.
Yep.
So
I'm assuming he'll just be if this is going to be your final season, what better way to do it than just do Lex Luthor? And it was Superman's 85th birthday yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that would be fun. Just have it be Lex Luthor. Maybe just pay homage. Like, just approach it how, Arrow approached season 8. I think that would be a good way to go.
Yeah, I think that would be very cool. And, we've talked about the show a bunch and how good we both think it is and how good Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch are as Superman and Lois Lane, and they deserve to have a proper final season, and hopefully the budget constraints don't take away from that.
Yep.
We both talk about how great that show looks, but it's also incredibly well acted and incredibly well written.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's like the people that are working behind the scenes on that show. It's not like your average CW show. Like, Stargirl started to show, that this could be on. Like, we just jokingly, watched the clip from Flash season 4, and it's just like, there's a difference. Like, there's 10 to 11 care that goes into Superman and Lois and bits of Stargirl. So hopefully if you're going to keep something, that's what you need to keep.
Yeah. I would hope so. And then the last couple things are we got a lot of gaming news over the last week. Starting with the Xbox Showcase, / Ubisoft presentation, which showed off a couple cool things. First and foremost, the Avatar, first-person game, the Frontiers of Pandora, is slated for a February 2025 release.
I believe so, yep.
That's, it has the full backing of James Cameron.
Yep.
It takes place in Pandora, and this was a game that got announced a few years ago, and was definitely what I was interested in.
Yeah, and we didn't really know what this game was going to be like, and it's cool that we found out about this game, and then Way of Water came out, and then we got the actual reveal of what this game is going to look like. And I think the Avatar high is getting even higher.
Oh shoot! I was totally off on the release date. It's December 7th of this year.
Oh, it's coming out this year.
Yeah,
sick. I think Outlaws is. Well, we're going to talk about Star Wars Outlaws in a second, but that game is going to be a March 2024, I think. So, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game. A first-person Navi game, I think that's a pretty interesting concept as well. And one thing we talked about was how gaming has changed, because if these games were getting announced 5 years ago, 6 years ago, these games probably would have been live service games. It probably would have had a more multiplayer element, but now it's very different, single player focus, open world games. That's the future, story driven games. So
yeah, and the Avatar world feels like a great world to mess around with in a video game. So it's got a lot of
Horizon energy
big time.
That's why I was like, this
what I was thinking, I'm jumping ahead a bit, speaking of Horizon, to Transformers. I was looking at the Maximals and I was like, maybe Horizon live action series will work.
Right, yeah, yep.
Because what are the machines in Horizon Zero Dawn, if not the Maximals from Transformers? So
that's actually a great point.
I was thinking that while I was watching it. I was like, oh. And then, so you mentioned Star Wars Outlaws. A surprise to me, definitely. I was like, wait a second, another Star Wars thing that they're making? So, yeah, Lucasfilm Games has unveiled Star Wars Outlaws, a third-person action-adventure game, first ever open-world Star Wars game. It's being touted as with a female-led protagonist that's going to be taking place between Empire and Return of the Jedi. Obviously, the trailer was pretty much exclusively in CG, so obviously we didn't get a look at what the game actually is, but the concept sounds super, super cool.
Yeah.
Coming 2024, and that's super exciting.
Yeah.
It's a Star Wars game I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
So.
Did you watch the gameplay that they dropped for it as well? It's looking pretty solid. It is like a mixture. And I mean, this is just this being in my mind, but it is like a little bit of a mixture between, Fallen Order, Survivor, and then also your Battlefront. Like, it's like a solid cross between the two, just like the movement ways of, Fallen Order and Survivor, and then kind of like, your gun-toting... Wait, I gotta take that back, because Cal Kestis is a gun-toting Jedi now, so... But still, same concept. I mean, I love that open-world mentality, and again, the gaming has changed, so a game like this I don't think exists 5 years ago, but now it gets the chance to breathe and, get people excited, too. I know story mode games are like... It wasn't a small niche, but it was like... They weren't games like you can play with your friend. Like, now it's like story-driven, focused. Like, you get a really cool protagonist and you kind of just, run the galaxy with them, which is awesome. So
Yeah, I'm super intrigued. I know that there's a lot of different things happening with the Knights of the Old Republic remake right now that aren't very positive. So it's good that we're getting another Star Wars thing to kind of hold us over while that's happening.
And in the Star Wars, what was the game that they announced? And it was Eclipse, Star Wars Eclipse.
Yeah, and we haven't seen since.
And it was supposed to be like the biggest thing that Star Wars had ever done in the gaming side.
Yeah, that was unveiled at the Game Awards last year. Last December that was unveiled, and I don't think haven't seen anything of it since.
And the trailer was just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And I thought it was gonna be this on steroids. Like, I thought it was gonna be like, you can pick whatever type of person you wanted to make and just planets upon planets to explore. So hopefully that game comes out. Maybe it'll come out when Avatar 5 comes out.
Hopefully not. Also, Assassin's Creed Mirage got shown off at the Xbox showcase. Like I said, going back to the Middle East for the first time since the series started, and they have like a Batman-esque kind of fear takedown technique, where the character teleports all around. Like, Assassin's Creed, especially the later ones, have kind of embraced like the mysticism a little bit more. Not sure how I feel about that, but it does look cool.
Yeah, it does. It
definitely
good.
looks like it's returning to its roots of like stealth gameplay. I know Assassin's Creed Valhalla was kind of more sword and board, like action adventure-y. So, I think a return to the kind of the stealth-based mechanics are a good thing for Assassin's Creed, a series that's been around forever.
Yeah.
I mean, the first Assassin's Creed was a launch title of the PlayStation 3. So that tells you how long this franchise has been going, and a credit to them, they are constantly reinventing it. And then. So besides the Xbox showcase, we got Summer Games Fest hosted by Jeff Keighley, and man, he brought the smoke.
Yeah, he did.
From the outset, I have always appreciated what Jeff Keighley has done for the gaming community. I know a lot of people kind of get turned off by his personality and kind of his, I guess people interpret it as like false modesty, especially as it pertains to like E3 and like the death of E3. And Jeff has come out and said like, oh no, like I didn't do this. I didn't kill E3.
Right.
You kind of did, Jeff. But I mean, he kind of has reinvented E3 and taken it under his own umbrella. Right. And I love that he's been able to cross gaming with the mainstream.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the first thing that happened, but Nicolas Cage showed up at Summer Games Fest as part of because Nick Cage is going to be in Dead by Daylight as a guest character. Brought his whole likeness and persona. That stuff doesn't happen
Right.
You know, it's 20 years ago.
Exactly. Yep.
I mean, Nick Cage. I mean, Jeff said it to him. Like, I'd love to see Nick Cage in more video game things.
And you're probably gonna talk about our boy Idris Elba that we talked about in a little bit for Cyberpunk. So like, that's a great point again. Like, this doesn't happen years ago. Like, these actors aren't coming out. Like, I'm gonna think there's gonna be a push in like the later 2020s of like, you know, bigger actors like wanting to be like, we're gonna make a video game around a character that I'm gonna have the likeness to.
Yeah, I mean, you're not. You know, we're kind of. On that. We're kind of there. Like, Nicolas Cage.
Yep. Keanu Reeves did it for Cyberpunk. Yep.
Idris Elba. Kit Harington was in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
So was Kevin Durant. No, I'm kidding.
John Bernthal was in Ghost Recon. Like, you know, these... And it's getting easier because with motion capture and facial capture, like, what actor kind of wouldn't want that kind of payday? I mean, first of
Cameron Monaghan's dominating the Star Wars genre to the point where people are like, okay, let's just put him in live action. It's like, it's simple. You don't need to get somebody else to play him.
So there was a heap of things announced at Summer Games Fest. There's a new Prince of Persia game coming out. It's not a remake of Prince of Persia. I think that's still happening, but this is more of a Metroid-esque 2D platformer, which looks cool. Mortal Kombat 1 got a full gameplay breakdown and reveal. That looks sensational. They talked about the cameo system, which is going to serve as an assist kind of function for the game, and overall it just looks really sharp. I mean, those NetherRealm games have even going back to Injustice and Mortal Kombat X. They really shattered the barrier of graphical fidelity. So it doesn't surprise me in the very least that Mortal Kombat 1 looks as good as it does. Like I said, we got the Nick Cage Dead by Daylight thing. We got 2 live action things. So we got a Witcher trailer for season 3, and it looks really good. I think it looks very much like the CG looks improved from the previous season. Unfortunately, there's the specter that this is Henry Cavill's last season.
Do you think they make that season 4?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm not as sold and convinced as I once was. It's either they're not going to make that season 4 or Henry Cavill's just going to play it. I don't really see a universe where
Liam Hemsworth takes over.
I don't know if it's going to actually come to fruition.
It would be so jarring, man.
Yeah,
he's so good.
Yeah, he
Henry
is.
Cavill is so good. We got a first clip of Twisted Metal that I forgot was happening.
Me too.
It looks kind of slapsticky.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, who's your main character?
Right.
Exactly. Like I was expecting Anthony Mackie to be a bit slapstick. So
yeah, it's like this grungy kind of. It almost looks like a dark humor kind of. So it's interesting. I'm looking forward to it for sure. We got a new Sonic game coming. We got a new game based on the works of Akira Toriyama, who most notable for Dragon Ball. But there's a Sandland game coming out. Alan Wake 2 got a gameplay reveal. That looks really, really sharp. John Carpenter's got a game coming out. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando looks a little Left 4 Dead-ish. Like kind of like a zombie survival. It's John Carpenter. What do you expect? And then 2 big things at the end. Spider-Man 2 returned at the Summer Games Fest. I wasn't expecting
Somehow
that.
Spider-Man 2 returned.
Somehow Spider-Man 2 returned, which kind of like, I don't know, kind of retroactively took some steam out of the PlayStation Showcase a little bit. Because
they gave us more information on this one.
Yeah. And we got a release date.
Right.
October 20th. Spider-Man 2. And we got a first look at Venom.
Yep.
First true look at Venom in game, and the slight little breadcrumb that is not Eddie Brock will not be Venom.
It's Aunt May.
It's Aunt May. Aunt May is Venom.
Yeah, she didn't die. She got put in the tank, and now she's Venom.
It's got to be Harry Osborn, right?
Is it? Yeah, there's nobody else, right?
The only thing that it could be, and I had said it a while ago, was it could be Kraven, like at the end.
That would be kind of interesting. Yeah, and the only thing I could think is he might have a little bit more control over it than Peter had.
Yeah.
Because he was already kind of like that in the first place, so. They can't do Kraven's Last Hunt, right? Unless they just do it. Because I thought about the same thing about Spider-Man 1. I was like, they can't just straight up do the Sinister Six, and then they did it. And they couldn't have one of the greatest finales to a game, and then they just did it. Mm-hmm. There's few gaming moments, like, I got a couple that are just burned into my brain. That is one of them. The ending of that the first Spider-Man game is just forever going to be incredible.
Yeah, so we got a hard release date. We got,
was it 10 months after Miles Morales it takes place?
Yep.
Peter's back from Europe. Stupid. You can't just... No, you got to leave Miles alone. Let him cook for a little bit.
Yeah, we got, obviously, the Bells and Whistles Deluxe Edition, yada yada.
Yeah. Talk about what you want to talk about. Go ahead.
No, I'm not there yet. I want to hang on Spider-Man a little bit more. I think the digital, or the Deluxe Edition is not going to be physical. It's going to be digital only, with all the bells and whistles that you get with the pre-order, which is interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
It's an interesting direction that we're heading.
Yep. Do you think that has to do anything with GameStop dying out? Store by store,
I guess, but I mean, at least for me, like I get a lot of stuff digital, but I do get a handful of things physical, but it's all through Amazon.
Right, yeah, your Amazons, then you could go to like your Walmart's, Targets, right?
Yeah, like I get everything from Amazon now. Like I haven't been to there's a GameStop right up the street. I haven't been there in years.
Right.
It's because, there's no incentive. Like, Amazon's going to send me my thing the day the game comes out anyway.
Yeah, it's like, I always find it funny, like, when people pre-order something, like, when they digitally pre-order the thing, and I'm like, you could have done that 30 seconds before the game comes out.
Yeah.
Because I did that for Jedi Survivor.
Yeah.
It's like, my friends were like, yeah, we pre-ordered the game the second they did the announcement. I'm like, you guys got the physical copy? They were like, nope. I was like, then why'd you do that like 8 months in advance when you could have just... It was 11:58 and I hit submit payment and I still got the pre-order bonuses you get for the game.
Yeah. Digital pre-orders are a little
It does
silly.
take the pomp and circumstance out of it, I will tell you that.
We had gone are the days of the midnight release for a video game where you line
midnight release for movies.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Now we just go see the movie at like 8 o'clock.
You can go see the movie at 10:30 in the morning if you want to, the day before the release date. We saw Top Gun like 3 days before it came out.
Yeah. And then, the thing that Summer Games Fest ended on, which was kind of like set up throughout the show.
Was Stray 2.
Yeah, no. But there was an indie developer kind of sizzle reel, and Stray was there, so like maybe there will be a Stray 2.
Because it should have won Game of the Year.
Stray 2, you're a dog in this one.
Yeah, Stray 2, you're a stray dog.
But yeah,
Stray 3, you're a pigeon. And then all the strays are gonna team up for an Avengers Endgame level threat, which is the mailman. It's just a normal mailman too, but he's got superpowers. Play Stray. This video is not
Stray.
This video is not this podcast is not sponsored by Stray.
If you have like a good 8 hours to kill on a game, play Stray. It's really good. It's really good.
Or you could play the game you're going to talk about in a second.
Yeah. So the beginning of summer for Games Fest happens, and Jeff Keighley's like, I got a lot of cool things. And he's like, one freaking amazing thing at the end that's gonna blow your balls off.
Is it GTA 6?
People thought that. It could have been one of two things. It could have been GTA 6. It could have been like a title card and like, welcome to the thing. And then the other thing was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which if you followed the breadcrumbs, that's what it was gonna be. Because funny enough, 7 days out from Summer Games Fest, the Final Fantasy VII Twitter account randomly just started posting developer Q&As, like developer answer number 1 on day 1. And we're like, are they doing these one a day? And then like day 3 came in like, yeah, they're doing these one a day. And then like 7 days is Summer Games Fest. And then they revealed Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, which is a mobile game that's coming out, and Jeff goes, speaking of Final Fantasy, and the crowd gasps, and he goes, no, and then he launches into a DoorDash ad, which was hilarious.
You gotta get this money somehow.
And then at the end, he builds it up, and we get Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and wow.
I have not finished the first game.
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Right.
Yeah.
And even I was like, geez.
Oh,
Lord.
it looks incredible. They're doing the thing that everyone thought they were doing. They're team up attacks, open world. It's just building on everything from the first game, and it's coming out early 2024. And then the big thing was on 2 discs. So said the trailer reveal, which is bonkers because the whole conceit behind next gen was the multiple disc era was dead. I mean, the last thing I played that was multiple disc was Red Dead 2. Red Dead 2 had an install disc and the actual gameplay disc. From what I gather from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, it's not a install disc game disc sitch. No, this game is on 2 discs.
Jeez.
So you're looking at, I think a single PS5 disc holds about 100 gigs.
Yeah, yep.
So you're looking at 200 gigs.
Well, RIP to my PlayStation 5.
Yeah, if you haven't gotten if you haven't used that extra hard drive slot in your PlayStation 5, you're gonna have to if you're planning on playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Because
like, I don't even know right now how I have space for all these games.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna have to contend with everything that's gonna, like, by the time that, like, 2024 hits, like, I'm gonna need a second PlayStation.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, they just went full send with 7 Rebirth. Everything looks way better. Like I said, team up attacks. If you're a fan of the original game, like, you kind of know where the story's going. And yeah, I was just floored by it. And Final Fantasy VII Remake came out March of 2020, and this one is slated for, it says early 2024. I would assume March 2024 will be the release date.
March or April.
Yeah.
At the latest.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be, we talked about this with movies. We talked about this with gaming. It's going to be a nice 12-month period.
Yeah. I'm going to get held over forever. Like, I'm going to have one thing to another thing to another thing. It's great.
The Final Fantasy 16 demo is out. I played a little bit of it last night, and that game's going to have some Game of the Year legs. I'm telling you right now, if you have not downloaded the Final Fantasy 16 demo, I would encourage it because it's really, really good. Yeah, that game's going to have some Game of the Year legs for sure. I didn't think anything was going to kind of challenge Zelda this year. I think Final Fantasy 16 might.
I still think Spider-Man 2
Spider-Man 2 also will.
I personally think that's going to, once that game releases, I think it's going to shell-shock everybody. Yeah. And it's going to be so close to when the Game Awards happens is that that's going to have the best thing in its corner.
Yeah, it's going to be, it's going to, I think that those are going to be the 3, to be honest.
What was the year that we talked about that had, like, the biggest competition?
Well, that was
2020.
I think it was 2018, because that was God of
War 1.
Well, that was 2018 was really like a horse race between Red Dead 2 and God of War.
And Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
And then I feel like there wasn't it
2020
because it was Final Fantasy VII Ghost of Tsushima.
Yep. Breath of the Wild, I think.
Why do I feel like it was last year also was super competition? Because what was it between? It was between God of War, Ragnarok,
and Elden Ring.
Right. And Stray.
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 Yeah, so I think officially now, by the time we get to the end of the year, it's going to be a 3-horse race between Tears of the Kingdom, Final Fantasy 16, and Spider-Man 2. I think you can pretty much leave Hogwarts Legacy in the dirt compared to these other 3.
Yeah, I now that you even said that, I haven't even finished that game. I booted up that game 2 weeks ago for whatever reason, because I was just scrolling through the games that I have because I was bored, and I just immediately was launched into a boss battle against a huge beast, and I said, "Excuse me, I don't even remember this." That might be a little bit of an issue. Is like the story mode missions in that game aren't as memorable as other games.
Yeah, so I think it's a 3-horse race. I think you could leave Hogwarts Legacy in the dirt, and it's going to be a 3-horse race between Tears of the Kingdom, Final Fantasy 16, and Spider-Man 2.
If Survivor didn't have so many glitches, that story alone was good enough to get it some conversation.
Yeah.
But that day one release, if they needed to push it back, they should have pushed it back. But I still don't think they wanted to infringe on Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah. Short of that, let's talk about some Transformers.
Yeah.
So Transformers Rise of the Beasts has come out. It is a sequel to Bumblebee, technically.
Yeah, and it's said in the movie that it is a sequel. Like, they have a line to really help you out and understand that this is a sequel.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to address the timeline elephant in the room now, or should we do it later? Maybe let's just give our thoughts on the movie first, and then we can talk about that, because I have a theory, and I
a game theory. Nope.
Yep.
Copyright.
I have some thoughts on how they're gonna get this to work.
Ooh. Interesting. So Transformers Rise of the Beast, obviously the big selling point was like, hey, the Maximals are in this.
Yeah,
it's a Beast Wars kind of story.
Right.
And this was pretty fun.
I literally just watched this movie.
Yeah, I saw it last night. You saw it today.
About an hour ago, and I actually quite enjoyed that. I enjoyed that movie way more than I thought I would, and probably way more than I should have. And it's my biggest compliment I can give this movie is this is the summer blockbuster. This is cut from the mold. You said it before we hopped on. I don't need every summer blockbuster to be like, to either be on the Oppenheimer spectrum or on the Fast X spectrum. Like, there's a middle ground, and I think that's where this Transformer movie lays. And I think it's fun, it's serviceable. One thing I can say about the director is it's a great example of, and I think about this when I think about Daniel Destin Cretton when he did Shang-Chi, like having him put a little bit of his style into a franchise that's already so far along. I think he did a great job, and there's a reason why I think he's going to kind of be the new director of the Transformers movies.
It could be, yeah, because I mean this movie is trending well on a audience,
yep.
right? The critics aren't as big a fan of this as they were as of a Bumblebee.
Yeah, and I wasn't, and I'm not going to lie, I wasn't expecting much differently than the critics to believe what they believed about this movie. And I mean, just thinking about age ranges and stuff, the majority of the critics that are out there probably had these Transformers properties as kids.
Yeah.
So they're probably either going to be happy about what happens or very unhappy about what happens.
Yeah, and this movie, I will say, in comparison to Bumblebee, is not as kind of intimate as Bumblebee was. I think Bumblebee was more intimate, when it came to, obviously, Haley Steinfeld's character and Bumblebee itself. Mm-hmm. They attempted to do that with Anthony Ramos's character and Pete Davidson's Mirage. It's just a different dynamic.
I'm going to go further than that, and I'm going to say, and it's funny, it's hilarious that they reference ZT multiple times in this movie, because I feel like Bumblebee was like your John Hughes, Steven Spielberg-esque take on the Transformers, whereas this movie is like your 90s Terminator 2, a little bit more heavy on the action, like adventure style, the way the Mummy movies were operating, kind of like that. So it's funny that they take places in the decades, and like they're kind of like the staple of what the decades type of movies were to a small capacity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the 1994 setting too. And this is where Stephen Cable Jr., he really gets his style to kind of get imprinted on there too. And then you couple that with, New York's own Anthony Ramos too. So I think he did.
Who's great.
I think he did a pretty solid job as because essentially it's funny that I'm going to say this, but you kind of got to audition to be the human character in these Transformers movies, because you can't be somebody that's either annoying or or unserviceable or not integral to the plot.
Stop talking about Shia LaBeouf.
I was talking about Mark Wahlberg, but this is the best example of the main character of the main human character of the movie actually being credible of being there, because and I guess we could just talk about the movie a little bit. Like, they out of the gate in this movie establish he's ex-military, which just helps me so much believe that he's taking these hits and things like that.
He's not just some guy.
Some kid, like some
guy in the case of Mark Wahlberg's character. It was just a mechanic. Yeah, he's a mechanic.
And I don't even want to talk about Age of Extinction or The Last Night.
That's what I mean. I think this movie is better than all the Bay movies.
Well, I say it about the Bay movies all the time. The Bay movies were they're so weird. They're just weird. There's a mixture of and I will say about the Bay movies in a good front. the sound effects, the visual effects were probably the best, I think, and way ahead of the time in 2007.
Oh,
And
for sure.
it was insane. Sure. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, "There's no way that this looks like this." Like that, the first Transformers movie took place the same year that Spider-Man 3 came out.
Yeah,
and it's just insane to think about that.
Yeah.
But it's just, again, it's the human side of everything. It's just so, and then the Transformers started to get like, you know, when we talk about like bits, and I talked about this with the Flash. Like my issue with the Flash, like after season 3, is like they started doing bits. Like, what are we spending like 20 minutes with Sam's parents for? And like, this does not matter to anything. Like
they started doing bits. The Transformers started to become like caricatures.
They started to become like SNL like, I don't understand. Like, and then my big thing was like, it was like pseudo American Pie or something. I'm like, what type of movies are we making at this point? And then, like, you know, Age of Extinction started to not do it, and then you got to, like, you know, the Transformium and like the big corporation, and then it just went right immediately back into it. And like the best refreshing part, and I watched Bumblebee before I went to go see Rise of the Beast this morning. The biggest compliment I can give that movie too is, again, that like the old director way of approaching like these types of stories, like, you know, your 80s feeling type of movie, like feel good at some points. Like that's what I think these movies are understanding in the new age, and like kind of, you know, servicing your Transformers fans, your classic Transformers fans.
Yeah, I mean, I think if this movie had came out 10 years ago, people would be like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, right.
Like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of unfortunate that Bumblebee and this movie had to follow all of the Bay movies, because I think those movies kind of,
they're more adult too. Those like they're like borderline R, like if in terms of like, you know, the humor that they carry, like the innuendos that they have. Like what would have been more interesting is that if they were flipped and like these were the first movies that were coming out, and then like the audience would grow up and they'd get a little older, and then that's the type of movies that we would get.
Like, imagine if like Bumblebee was the first Transformers movie.
Genius.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, and then this is it's like, now the next one's like, well, now the Maximals are a thing.
Yeah.
And then you get into 2007 with who would play Sam Witwicky in 2023? I don't know.
Finn Wolfhard?
Finn Wolfhard would probably be solid as Sam Witwicky. Because you gotta be a little nerdy, but you gotta be able to do stuff.
Yeah.
I'm actually on board with that. I was gonna say, what's the guy that played Atom Smasher in Black Adam? Noah's
something with the C.
Yep, exactly his name. That's exactly how you say his last name. I don't know why, I just imagined him playing Sam Witwicky.
That could work. That would work.
Zendaya would immediately probably...
As Sam Witwicky?
Yep. Just kidding. As
Samantha Witwicky.
I'm going to get into something later about that very thing that you just said.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was the whole card right over. I got some things cooking in my head.
Yeah. I mean, overall, short of non-spoilery stuff, Anthony Ramos is good in this. I like the dynamic with him and his brother. Mm-hmm. I also like the dynamic with him and Mirage. Mm-hmm. I think Pete Davidson is really good in this movie.
Yeah, I think it is the understanding that, like, this is, you know, Hollywood's Pete Davidson at this point, but he also does get some moments to kind of cook, for lack of a better word.
Like, all the stuff that goes on with him, like, outside of movies and TV, and you're like, I don't get it. And then you watch this movie and like you hear him deliver lines and you're like, I kind of do get it. Like, he's fun, he's charming. Yep. He's you know, like,
he is still noble as well. Like, he's still got all those.
I'll talk about when we talk about like our favorite like fight. The one with him at the end, I think, is my favorite. Like, I really enjoyed that. Peter Cullen, obviously the iconic voice of Optimus Prime,
has a discernible arc in this movie. Finally, he's not just the leader of the Autobots. He actually has something, you know, in terms of character development, which I never thought would happen.
Ron Perlman voices Optimus Prime.
I'm gonna spoil my favorite, and new category alert for every movie. Favorite voice actor for this one. It's Ron Perlman for this one. It's just the way he delivers his lines. Like, he fits Optimus Primal perfectly.
Peter Dinklage voices Scourge.
Cool.
I liked it. Yeah. I liked the kind of gravelly kind of menace he brought to this character that, like, I don't know. Like, I guess it's because I've seen Megatron get his ass kicked so much.
Yeah.
That I'm like, Megatron's not really that scary, but Scourge was kind of scary. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, Scourge was an issue.
Maybe too much of an issue, and we'll talk about that in spoilers. Michelle Yeoh is in this. She voices Arizor, one of the other Maximals, and then we have a bunch of just other voices doing voice work.
Liza Koshy's RC.
Yep,
Good job.
I liked RC a lot, and then I
wouldn't see. This is one of the complaints about the movie is like I wanted more out of them. Like I wanted, and that's where I think, and I'm going to talk like you either could have cut 15 minutes off of this movie and left some stuff out, or you could have added 20 minutes and just the actual transform. Like, who's this new Transformers team that's on Earth in 1994? Like,
yeah, because we only see Prime and Bumblebee, right?
Prime, Bumblebee, Mirage are like the only three that are like get anything that are like beyond like they just start walking around with them. So I maybe wanted a little bit more of that.
But I'm going back to the comparison to the Bay movies. I love that all these Transformers are different.
Yeah,
and they're distinguishable, and they all have different distinct skill sets.
And I'm gonna even go further. It's the the Decepticons from Bumblebee, and then the Terracons from this movie. Like they don't all look exactly the same, which is great.
Yeah, they're all like G1 basically inspired now, which they should have just been from the beginning. But short of that, let's talk some spoilers. First of all. First spoiler, Bumblebee dies in this.
Yeah, Bumblebee dies pretty early on in this movie, and I'm like,
it's like, whoa!
And so it's crazy because I watched it and I was just like, why am I feeling so bad about this? And it's because I watched Bumblebee this morning. I was like, that's my guy. What are we doing?
He's like the mascot of Transformers.
Well, that's why I think it's actually a pretty smart. And I mean,
he comes back.
Obviously, he comes back. It's Bumblebee. But that's a pretty solid decision to make because we know he's going to come back, but it immediately tells you Scourge is like, like he's killing main characters off. This guy's an issue.
There's a few Transformers die in this.
Yeah. Yep.
Bumblebee dies.
Mirage temporarily dies for a second. I'm not gonna lie, when Mirage died, I thought they were gonna do the bit that they did from Deadpool 2, where he just won't lay down and die. I was like, please don't do it.
Arizor dies.
Mm-hmm.
Unclear. What did he do to her?
He infected her.
I know Scourge. What did Primal do to her? Like he just gave her a big hug.
I thought he ripped his spark out. Ripped her spark out.
Is that what he did?
Yeah, but they did it off screen though. Like they didn't show it. They showed their eyes. They didn't show.
Because he was holding her, and then all of a sudden he just laid her down. I'm like, whoa.
Because he's a gentleman.
He is a gentleman.
Yeah. Optimus Primal is good people.
He is good people.
Yeah, he's just like the guy that would pick you up if your car broke down. Optimus Prime would never do that. Optimus Prime would just be like, where's the next battle?
Well, that's kind of... I like the distinction that they draw between Prime and Primal in this, where Prime is like, we cannot talk to humans no matter what. Why would you bring him here, Mirage, you idiot? And then Optimus Prime was like, actually, humans are cool. I actually entrusted the future of our entire civilization to humans. And Optimus Prime is like, you what?
You carry the name of Primal, you idiot. God. So yeah, this movie starts out there on whatever planet the Maximals were on originally. Who knows? Who cares? And then Scourge shows up. You're like, somebody's probably gonna die. Guess who dies? Papa Primal dies.
Another ape Primal.
I know it's not supposed to work like that, but it's just funnier.
Ape Link.
Yeah, Ape Link dies, but it's funnier in my mind if it's his father that dies, and he's on a revenge path. We gotta get to Earth. I watched my father die. He's just Boba Fett.
Unicron is coming.
Oh no, Galactus is coming.
It is big Galactus.
I was waiting because there's a solid line when Chris and Noah are on the subway and he's talking about Superman. He's like, I'm not Superman. I was waiting for Chris to be like, so you're telling me this guy's basically Galactus, right? And then they did the space cloud and I said, no, I was having hot flashes back to 2006 again. I said, we can't do it.
Yeah, Unicron, it's basically Galactus.
It is Galactus. And Scourge is the Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the movie.
We actually don't need to talk about anything else.
But yeah, Scourge is kind of... I told you, he's got big Steppenwolf energy. That's basically what this is.
That's the biggest downfall of his character, is we've seen this a zillion times before.
Yeah, so Optimus Primal takes the key and Unicron's like, no.
Yeah.
So he the key locks Unicron out of the universe, I guess.
Yeah. Well, he can't transport without the key.
Dang.
Rats.
Maybe he shouldn't be so big.
Right.
And then, we're on Earth. We meet Noah. Hello. I'm the human character.
And it's the 90s.
And it's the 90s.
Yeah. Jordan shirt, Jordan shoes. His little brother has a Power Ranger shirt on.
Yeah. He's got a Game Boy.
Yeah, he's got a Game Boy. He can't beat Bowser. And the music budget on this movie probably took all of the budget. That's probably why this movie wasn't 20 minutes long, because they said, give me all the music.
The 90s, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
His brother's sick. His brother has sickle cell anemia.
I do like their relationship quite a bit.
I do too.
I think it was pretty solid.
It's pretty touching.
And I'm going to spoil my most underrated character. It's his little brother, actually, is, I think, the most underrated character.
Noah can't get a job. He's a loser.
Yeah, he's a loser. His he has the same mom as Miles Morales.
He does?
Yep. Good job.
And he's trying to get a job with a security firm. He can't do it. So he gets with his buddy for some hijinks.
Yep.
And he ends up in a car.
Yep.
And that car is Mirage.
Yeah.
Because the other character in this, the other human character, Dominique Fishback's character, discovers a thing. She discovers the key.
Yep.
The world key, and it ignites. And Optimus Prime sees it, and he's like, oh my god.
Big one energy. Big Transformers one energy out of this movie.
Yeah. And Optimus Prime sees the big beam, and he's like, it's the thing.
Yeah. Oh, actually, Transformers 2, because they had, travel to a different... Yeah, so...
He's like, I see it. We can go home. That's the key. Come on, guys. Autobots.
No. Hold it.
So Mirage takes off with Noah in the car. We've seen Mirage's abilities straight away. He can create mirages of himself,
which is pretty cool.
Can also create mirages of people in his car,
which is pretty cool.
And then they show up at the Autobot convention.
A little hideout, and Optimus is like, I hate humans.
Yeah, so
and Bumblebee's just like, well, humans aren't all bad. Shut up, Bumblebee. We already watched your movie. and that's how we know that it takes place in the same universe.
That's exactly what happens, pretty much. Bumblebee, he's got the voice changing. He's not Dylan O'Brien.
No.
He's back to regular, using quotes, Bumblebee. He's like, humans are my friends. And Optimus is like, I know.
Yeah.
I saw Bumblebee.
Yeah. I was in Bumblebee.
I was there.
I was there. I was there when the scribes were written, boy.
That Haley Steinfeld's good people.
Yeah.
Where is she?
I don't know, man.
She's doing Across the Spider-Verse. She's busy.
Yeah. She hopped universes.
So here's Anthony Ramos. Basically, you have to get the key, but damn Transformers, robots in disguise, aren't disguised enough to break into a museum.
No.
So Mirage is like, he can do it. The human can do it. Optimus Prime's like, nah.
Nope. Because humans are dumb.
Humans are dumb. And, Mirage is like, hey, man, I do quite like the conceit that Mirage is like, you help us, and then I can transform into literally any car.
Right.
And
you could just sell me.
For any amount of money.
Right.
I quite like that.
Yeah. And he says, I'm broke. I need to take care of my sick brother.
Yeah.
My mom's working at the hospital. Because every single mom in movie history always works at some sort of hospital. Or they are a server at a food place.
Yeah.
It's the only two variations.
Then our humans get together, and there's a nice little exchange where he's like...
Well, you find out that Dominique Fishback's she's an intern at a museum, basically. But she's smarter than the actual curator of the museum.
Of course she is.
Yeah, because she's got main character energy, so she figures out that this thing is not 1600 years old. It's much older than that.
Or much...
Younger? Who knows? History.
Because the Maximals are both from the past and the future.
You're going to want to hear what I have to say. I'm just going to play the line from Django. You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
Yeah, so the Scourge attacks, because he also saw that the key got activated. And he's like, Unicron, watch this.
Yep.
And then, so here's where we get to the first confusing thing about Scourge. So we get to a big robot fight.
Yep, this first fight of the movie.
Big robot fight. Optimus is fighting Scourge, and it's not going well for our boy Prime.
No.
He hits Scourge with his big axe, and it just pings off him.
And then Scourge uses his little cannon that is imbued with the power of Unicron that just blows bits of like their bodies straight off. So kills Bumblebee.
Yep.
Takes Bumblebee's insignia off.
Yep. Adds it to his collection.
Yep.
He's like General Grievous.
I was gonna say he's like Victor's Zsasz, but same energy.
And then so that's the confusing thing about Scourge. He's invulnerable.
And then Michelle Yeoh's character, she said like she even says it like he's near invincible.
Yeah, he's powered by dark. I thought she was gonna say Dark Energon, but she didn't.
She should have said Dark Energon. That would have also added more to the universe, man.
But Optimus Prime, just fueled by the power of revenge and being the main character, breaks through Scourge's vulnerability.
Your kid, mind and kid understanding of Optimus Prime. This movie, and this is from even the Bay movies, this Optimus Prime is different.
Yeah,
if Optimus Prime is once you gone, you're gonna be gone.
Mark my words, Scourge. By the time this movie's over, I will kill you.
Yeah, he said it just like that too. He said, by the time the runtime is over in this movie, you'll be dead.
And the Scourge is like, you will try.
You will try. And
then he's like, they're like, should we kill them, Scourge? And he's like, no, we got the key.
Yeah.
He goes back to Unicron, and Unicron's like,
I'm gonna go tell Dad I got the key.
Then let me do the Justice League scene where he's
they beat for beat. They do the whole room transforms. He kneels down.
Yeah.
And Unicron's like, you idiot. You only have half of the key, stupid. There's 3 mother boxes, not 1. I'm gonna go kill those heroes now.
Oh my god, it is the same scene.
Maybe this is why critics didn't like it, because it was making them think about that.
And Scourge is like, what do you mean 2 keys? This wasn't established in the prologue.
God. And we had a prologue.
God. So yeah, everybody finds out there's 2 parts of the key, because Optimus Prime is like, without the key, we can't go back to Cybertron. And Anthony Ramos is like, I don't even want you to go back to Cybertron.
Yeah, he said, I don't care. What's a Cybertron? I don't care about this.
So they meet. That's where they meet Michelle Yeoh's character, Arizor.
Well, she comes in Ex Machina as them.
Yeah, she's got lava powers.
Good job.
And Optimus Prime is like, Maximals?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
You're the Maximals from Transformers lore.
Nice. The Maximals are like...
Better?
Better transform, better than the Autobots?
Well, they even say it, like the whoever Scourge's lackeys are, they're just like they're much more power. Like finally a real fight, and Scourge is like, actually, I gotta go tell Dad I got half the key or the whole key, I think. So
they figure out that the key's in 2 pieces, and they're like, but we don't know where the second one is. And then
Dominic Fishback, I'm the main character. I'm one of the main characters. I know I'm the smart half of the main characters. I know where it is.
So they go to Peru.
Yep.
And then the Autobots launch the worst covert mission of all time.
It is bad.
Because they immediately get...
Well, you know why it's a bad covert mission? Because they care so deeply to stay hidden. But Scourge is like, nah, I'm running on the rooftops of Peru.
And
I don't
also,
care.
they're not hidden from the Terracons.
Right, they're just...
Because as soon as, Anthony Ramos is like, we need your help, and the cars all start going, and Scourge is like, there they are.
Yeah.
The Autobots are on the move.
Yeah. So they go
turn into something different, Optimus Prime.
That's what I'm saying. So the humans go to the little temple, but it's not there. Dominic Fishback, Elena, you lost it for us. Oh no! And
big chase.
Oh, they do the horror bit. 4 different God. So the Terracon, they're whatever you call them, the Predacons, the henchmen essentially,
the spiders,
the parademons. Is this just Justice League?
Nope. Don't do this.
It might be Justice League. Oh, it might be because who comes back?
Oh man.
Okay, I'm getting there. So yeah, it's gone. Oh no, where's the thing? They do the horror sequence again. They escape. But what's her name? Arizor?
Arizor, yeah.
Gets infected.
Yeah.
By Scourge.
Scourge has Scourge.
Yeah.
It's a little on the nose.
It is a little on the... They should have just had, what's his name, voice him if they were going to call him Scourge. Just keep it consistent.
Carl Urban.
Yeah, just have Carl Urban voice him.
He infects Arizor with rust. Mystical rust.
Mystical space rust from a robot planet.
And she's like, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. She's not fine.
No. Famous last words, I'm fine.
They come across, and lo and behold, who has the key? Optimus Primal.
Yeah.
He's back.
Yep.
Ron Perlman.
Yeah, he's got his boys with him.
And he goes, I'm Optimus Primal. And Optimus Prime goes, Primal?
He said, I was named after you.
Ah. He's like, you're the man, Optimus Prime.
He said, I look up to you.
The great Autobot
I looked up to you physically and literally and metaphorically look up to you because you're taller.
And then Optimus is like, you know where the other part of the key is? He's like, yeah, I left it with these people. And
I was like, you
humans?
You stupid ape. You don't know anything.
Humans? And Optimus Primal was like, yeah.
What's wrong with humans?
They're fine.
Yeah. Optimus is just like, you're the dumbest Prime I've ever met in my life. Your father would be disappointed. And
then Optimus Primal is like, has like a little like get together with the other Maximals. So there's Rhinox and Cheetor are here.
Yep.
And Optimus Primal was like, man, this guy kind of sucks.
Yeah, he's just like,
never meet your heroes.
Yeah. Wait, they already did this in that. They already did this in Dark of the Moon. Never meet your heroes.
They're just carrying Bumblebee's carcass around.
Yeah, and the huge plane Transformer is.
Yeah, they lay him on a big rock and
of Energon.
Optimus Prime was like, Energon? And Optimus Prime was like, nah.
Yeah, it is, but we can't use it.
Too much power, yada yada. This is a secret tool that will be used for later.
Yeah. Yeah, hold that.
So they find the key, and then Anthony Ramos has a big moral dilemma.
Yeah, he's just like, he like tells all the Autobots are on the other side of the planet. He says like, we need to destroy this key because like by any circumstance, like we can't give them the opportunity. Like it's like a 50-50. Like the good thing, like they can go back, but like if Scourge is on his way and he says it to Optimus's face, like Scourge just whooped y'all's butts. So do we really want to give the key to this guy?
He said you immediately lost it.
Yeah. So don't you think we should destroy it when we find it? And Optimus is like, no. I left my PlayStation on at home. I want to go home.
And then I love this. This is like a hilarious juxtaposition where Optimus like finally like his barrier comes out and he's like, I'm going to trust Anthony Ramos with this other part of the key. And then he immediately goes to destroy it.
Yeah.
And Optimus is like, don't do this.
Yeah. And Anthony Ramos is like, what if I do that?
Also, I love the fact Optimus couldn't just stop him.
Well, he had his hand cannon. I know.
Optimus Prime is like, this giant robot is trying to like negotiate.
Well, I mean, he would have fired the thing before Optimus would have like kicked him out of existence. So
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
but you know, Dominique Fishback's character is like, don't do it. You're better than this.
Yeah,
Noah, don't destroy the thing.
Yeah,
and then Scourge shows up.
Yeah.
Because Arizor is infected.
And Arizor takes Elena as well. Yeah, with the key.
Who could have seen this coming?
Probably them, because they knew she turned a couple minutes ago. But
yeah, Optimus Prime was like, yeah, there's nothing we can do.
Maybe go out. Like, Optimus Primal immediately goes after him, and Optimus just like, there they go.
If only I had my jets from the third Transformers movie. I could fly.
When I destroyed Chicago. God, they just nuked the city. They shouldn't even have saved anybody. Chicago just got obliterated off the face of the earth.
If only I had my wings from the other movies. I could.
When we went to Russia.
Somehow Optimus Primal catches Arizor just swinging through the trees.
Because he's him. Actually, Optimus Primal is more capable than Optimus Prime.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's too late.
Yeah.
Scourge got the key.
No. And then they do the thing from Justice League again. Like the whole layout of like the whole place turns and like it just gets transformed.
Unicron builds himself a Mordor.
Yes, he does. Yeah. That tower. Once that tower's activated, there's no stopping. Okay. So there's the tower.
We never said this movie made sense.
Yeah.
It just was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And that's sometimes all we can ask for is it to be fun. Yeah. So, look, y'all. Everybody look. So, the conceit is this. So, Anthony Ramos pulls a Star-Lord from the Guardians of the Galaxy game. He calls a huddle. And he says, yes, he calls a huddle. He's like, everybody, huddle up real quick. Y'all. Huddle up.
I think that might have actually been what he actually says.
So, they just listen to this human. So, they all just fall in. And they're just like, all right, y'all, we gotta keep fighting. And then Optimus is like, wait, I'm Optimus Prime. I should be giving this speech. And they're just like, all right, but here's the thing. If we blow up the thing, it's going to ignite and the whole world's still going to blow up. We can't have that.
Well, under no circumstances can we destroy the key.
So Dominic Fishback or Elena, she figures out, she found the code, the alien code to stop it.
Yeah, the kill switch.
The kill switch code. So they try to get her up there.
So the whole plan is the humans have to sneak in because we can't do it because we're robots in disguise.
Is this also Lord of the Rings? Is this also Return of the King?
Sort of.
Because they do the distraction plan.
Yeah.
Holy
crap.
And
then the Maximals and the Autobots are like, we're just going to start a big fight. We're going to start a big fight and we got to lure Scourge off the bridge and so the humans can do the thing.
Right.
Of course that plan's not going to totally work. It's the third act.
Right. However, what this does give us is some premium Transformers content out of this.
Unicron's coming. So Scourge summons Unicron and you know how this goes.
Man, that lineup, man, when it's like Maximal Transformer, I was like, is this about to go crazy?
Big beam shoots up in the sky.
Oh no.
It's a red sky beam.
It's red sky beam. It's different this time.
The portal's opening up.
Yep.
And it has to get big enough for Unicron to be able to fit through.
Yep.
Maybe he should get smaller.
Right.
And he wouldn't take so long.
Yeah, maybe lose a couple LBs, buddy, and you'll be fine. Man, when they're all on that cliffside and like and Optimus is like Autobots and Primal's like Maximals, and they both say roll out, I almost started floating in my seat. I was just like, this is it.
And then Optimus Primal does the thing. Maximize.
They all transform, which, to our point, they should have just stayed in that form the whole time.
Cheetor gets a big spear.
Yeah, because, like, here's the thing, like, the Transformers transform into, like, the Autobots transform into cars.
Yeah.
They can blend it. Like, you're like a 15'8". Like, you don't blend into anything. You should have just stayed in your fighting form.
Yeah.
But who cares?
It's a pretty sweet action sequence that unfolds here.
Yeah, like this is way more of what we got in the beginning of Bumblebee on the Cybertron sequence. Like, this is everything that you want. Optimus Primal is a problem. They're gonna fight at some point, right? Him and Prime?
Probably.
I hope they do.
Yeah, we get the team up sequence with Prime and Primal where they dispatch
whoever the tow truck one was.
One of them.
Yeah.
Nope, it's not Nightbird. It's Battle Trap.
Yeah, Battle Trap. Gets trapped in the web of the Primes.
Yeah.
Dead.
Optimus Primal.
They do a bit also in that part.
They do a bit.
So, Primal being Primal just, ape smashes him with something, and Optimus is just like, that was mine. And then Primal just laughs and walks up. Very slapstick Infinity War Cap and Thor at that bit, but good stuff.
Then we get to, so it's Mirage, Noah, and Elena.
Right, so Mirage is just like, all right, this isn't working. Like,
because Scourge didn't take the bait.
Right. Yep. And Optimus is like, I'm going after Scourge, and Mirage is like, hold on, I got this. Don't worry, I got to do my hero moment. Spoiler alert: this is the most heroic moment in the movie.
Yeah.
I think is from Mirage, and he's just like, all right, I'm going to take on Scourge myself. And it's working for a little bit. He's using his his Mirage powers to like have him swing and a miss. It's working. Not really though. Scourge is still Scourge. And Mirage dies. He gets killed. But his last stitch effort is to give an exosuit to
uses his body.
Yeah, the rest of his body
to give Mirage, or to give Noah a Iron Man suit.
Right. And it shouldn't work. By no means or circumstance should it work.
But it does.
It's
cool.
But like also one of the running pieces of the movie is that their relationship between the brothers, between Noah and Chris. And Chris, told Mirage, and there was I actually quite enjoyed this scene where Chris told Mirage, like, hey, you need to keep him safe, like, no matter what. Like, and I'm being serious. Like, I'm going to come after you if you don't keep him safe. Yeah. And then you find out later in the movie that Chris has been, like, in communication with Mirage this whole time. So after Mirage dies, Chris gives him his hero speech to ignite him, and I actually quite enjoyed that a bit. He's just like, no real names over the comms, and Chris is like, nah, let them know who you are. And I was like,
wait a minute
are these bars? Wait a second. And then
leap of faith from Into the Spider-Verse. You've been knocked off the perch.
Yeah, this is actually the best hero ascension scene I've seen. Actually, there's nothing better, and there never will be. But yeah, it's Scourge taking on Optimus, and
well, before that, somehow Bumblebee returned.
Oh my god.
Because the big portal thing activated all the energon
Right.
that was latent in the earth. And
well, the line from Prime was just like, there needs to be a huge release of energy to activate the raw energon. Of course there's a big release of energy that,
activates the energon.
Oh my.
And then Bumblebee's just sitting on the rock. Mm-hmm. And then
Yep. And then the plane flies by, and the Beast opened the bomb bay doors. Don't call it a comeback. And I was like, this is summer blockbuster if I've seen it.
Bumblebee, the armored, the face shield drops. That's how you know Bumblebee means business. Mm-hmm. Is when he drops his mask. Mask on. Bumblebee comes in and just starts tearing through. Mm-hmm. He destroys Nightbird.
Yep.
Because she's like, you again.
Yep.
And Bumblebee's like, watch this.
Watch this. Stabs her, explodes, blows her up.
Lands.
Superhero landing. Awesome.
Anthony Ramos also does a superhero landing.
Yep. Some good stuff. And then
we're gonna get.
Yeah.
So Noah goes, "It's me and you, Scourge," and then Scourge is like, "Really? You're gonna fight me alone?" And then Prime rolls up. He's not alone. And Prime was like, "I came with the receipts."
Yep. But Unicron's still coming through, sending more of the paradeformers down is what I'm going to call them. It's not looking good.
And then somehow Scourge just loses his invincibility.
He didn't lose his invincibility. Optimus Prime remembered that he was him. That's what happened. Now, we've been watching these Transformers movies for 16 years. There's one thing about live action Optimus Prime, you don't want to see this guy in space. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to see this guy 1v1.
No.
There's just, this man has died, come back to life, and killed the guy that killed. He can't lose. He can't stay dead.
I told you, he broke through Scourge's invincibility with the sheer force of revenge.
Man, when Optimus wants his lick back, he'll get his lick back. He really just dismantled
destroyed him. Like, it wasn't, Anthony Ramos helped.
Yeah.
He did the slide under and cut your leg move that happens all the time in movies, except this one happened to a robot.
Right.
And then Optimus, he puts Scourge's face in the lava, and he's like, "I told you, Scourge. I told you would die for that," he said to him, like Thor said to Thanos.
"You should have went for the controls."
And then he just rips Scourge's head off.
How many people has he decapitated in these? This is like the third one, right?
Well, technically, this is the first one.
Okay.
Maybe this is where he got his lust for blood.
He does have a lot of bloodlust. I do quite like that when Noah's riding on the top of Bumblebee, he's holding the car and Bumblebee's just got the jet boosters on him.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
He does
This is big, loud, dumb Transformers act. This is all I'm asking for.
He does the Sub-Zero spine rip.
Yeah, he does. Oh my god, yeah.
And then he grabs the piece that Scourge took from Bumblebee and said, "This belongs to a friend of mine." God, Optimus Prime.
Yep. But oh no, Unicron's here. Unicron's coming to do the thing. Elena, she put the key code in, but it got destroyed. The pin
because Optimus Prime can't mind his business.
Right, so it's gone. Optimus says, "I'll do it. I'll sacrifice myself." And Prime was like, maybe he isn't so bad. This is into the Spider-Verse a little bit with Primal and Prime.
Yeah, he's like, "Prime, you'll die if you do this." And Prime's like, I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I killed Scourge, so I have nothing else to live for.
Yeah. Don't you have to live to be the leader of the Autobots? Nah. Yeah. Just wanted Scourge dead, so it's all good.
And then, but, Optimus in true Optimus fashion is not motivated to save the world. He's just motivated to kill Unicron.
Right. His greatest adversary.
So Unicron's like, "Don't destroy the thing, Optimus Prime.
I'll give you whatever you want." Then die. I said, let's go.
Yeah, he destroys the key. The portal closes. Everything's getting sucked up. And then Anthony Ramos grabs Optimus Prime and he's like, "Not like this.
I got you.
What does he say? Something is one. Together is one.
Yeah, that's the whole line that they kept saying throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's too much. But then who swoops in? Optimus Primal grabs both of them, and then when he's right on the back of Optimus, he's like punch it, and they're like, I'm like,
punch it, Prime.
Punch it, Prime. I'm like, this is it. This is all I came for. Good stuff.
And they all have a nice little chat. And Optimus Prime's like, Well,
I am not yet.
No.
Not yet.
He says, well, I haven't killed anybody in about 20 minutes. What do you guys say we plan to kill Unicron?
Yeah. Well, Primal's just like, Unicron will come back. All evil does. And Optimus Prime said, let him come. I hope he does. I hope he tries to come back.
And then, we get the voiceover.
Mm-hmm.
I am Optimus Prime. Yada, 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 yada. Motivational speech.
But then...
And then...
we get another one from Noah himself has his own Optimus Prime speech. And you're like, why is this random guy that may or may not have been ex-military and has nothing to do with any future of these movies or any other movies has to do with anything, why is he getting his own thing? Then they do the title card, and then they cut again, and he's going on his job interview. You're like, oh, cool, he's getting his job. And then he goes into just a random factory in New York. He's in some back office room. I forget what that actor's been in a bunch of stuff that he's getting interviewed by.
Michael Kelly,
yep. And he's just like, all right.
You're Michael Kelly from House of Cards.
Right, yep. So he's interviewing him. He's just like, wow, that was pretty cool stuff he did in Peru. And Anthony Ramos is just like, how did you know I was in Peru? I never said I was in Peru. Well, you're in Peru. You live in Brooklyn. Your brother's name is Chris. He has sickle cell anemia. He's like, how do you even know these things? You FBI, CIA? He's like, no, I work for a super secret government organization. And I'm like, okay, is this like the beginning of like, the organizations that they were running in the big Transformers movies?
Yeah.
You would think.
You would think.
Slides him a card, and one of the running gags is that Chris thinks the government's always listening. That's why they use code names. So he's just like, by the way, and then he leaves. He goes to his wall in this random office, pulls down one of the awards on the wall, and then the wall opens up to this big room of tech. And he's just like, Chris was right, by the way. He flips this card over, and the card says G.I. Joe on it. And I said, what?
It's so crazy.
People were talking about it for days. Like, I was like, what could possibly be the craziest thing? Like, there was crazy, and then there was like, we're gonna do a G.I. Joe crossover with Transformers crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's next.
Are they gonna get The Rock to come back?
No.
But what if they did, though?
He's busy.
Is he?
He's busy being back in the Fast and Furious.
He could do both. I could do both.
And then the mid-credit scene, Mirage is back.
Mm-hmm. But very Bumblebee, and it's like, now he's not a Porsche anymore. He's just like he is a Porsche, but he's just
a Frankenstein Porsche.
But he's back. Pete Davidson's back. That's probably... I'm not going to be surprised if they have Anthony Ramos back for the next movie, and they just kind of keep it going like that.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, G.I. Joe.
Wow.
G.I. Joe cross Transformers. It's happening.
It just was, like, so many things.
It's so out of left field.
Like, I thought they were going to say, like, I don't know, like, freaking, Cade Yeager when he was young. Anything, like, happened, and then it was G.I. Joe. I said, what? 90s kids. Once they find a way to get the Power Rangers in here as well and have the three of them all fight, like, this is going to be the most 90s nostalgia thing you can ever ask for.
And I just love Anthony Ramos' reaction when he goes, G.I. Joe. And then the movie ends. Oh man, it was a fun movie.
I had some fun, man. I had some fun. And it's fun whenever we describe the plot, and like we always kind of know like the quality of movie whenever we describe a plot, because some like we're super intricate, and then there's some like these we're like, well, why did he say if the thing's gonna blow up and then he blows up, but then the world didn't end?
Yeah,
it's like that's fine. Movie's solid, movie's fine. But it's fun. Like, it's just fun. Get to go watch the Transformers actually be Transformers in this third act of the movie. Human protagonist that I'm fine with, instead of being just
that isn't like the worst.
That isn't the worst. Like
a human protagonist you actually want to root for.
Exactly. Like, it's as simple as that. Like the Primals, like the Maximals, the Autobot, like good stuff. Nice team up. The beginning of the trilogy, which I'm assuming, which is probably gonna end in Beast Wars. I'm assuming that's probably what I would end it. Like the third movie should probably be called Beast Wars.
Yeah.
So. Good stuff. Hopefully, maybe if people like Anthony Ramos, this movie makes a little bit of money. Maybe he's just the Transformers guy for a little bit.
We will see him next in Ironheart.
Yeah, yep, playing the villain in Ironheart.
Yeah.
So, he's got a good career ahead of him, and he's had a pretty solid career up till now, but he's got a really bright future in front of him, which is awesome. Same thing for Dominique Fishback too. I think she's a super talented actress too.
Yeah, just wasn't given a ton to do.
Right. Yeah.
In this movie. Other than being like, I figured it out.
I'm smart.
Yeah. I figured out the thing. I did it.
And that was Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Mm-hmm. You could never be Last Night, but you are.
Oh man,
you did the Rise of the Beasts. Oh, let's do our thing, man.
Let's do it.
Let's do our thing. The best quote unquote cinema moment in this movie.
The Autobots Maximals roll out thing.
Man.
When they roll out and then the Maximals maximize.
Man.
It's great. It's 90s. It's the most 90s thing in this entire movie.
I'm gonna do the fact that the director had his handprints as a director all over this thing. So that's my best cinema moment. That, like, I do quite like him as a director, and I like what he did on Creed 2. So all of his bits showing through of it's tough to say like the directing and the cinematography was incredible in some types of these movies, but there were some good things that he did, and I definitely felt like that it wasn't just like a industry plant to be put in to make this movie, which I appreciated. Best character that doesn't need to be in this movie. Best Transformer that doesn't need to be in this movie.
Oh. RC?
RC. No. I'm gonna say, what was the one that they found in Peru?
Oh, yeah, the Hispanic one?
Yeah, well, he's not Hispanic.
Yeah. Wheeljack.
Yeah, Wheeljack. You could take him out. It's the same movie.
Yeah.
They just needed more Transformers to fight at the end. Actually, that's what Optimus' biggest downfall is that he just puts Transformers out there to die. He's the worst. Best Transformer or actor to join the franchise.
Pete Davidson. Mirage.
And then I'll go farther to say Anthony Ramos as Noah Diaz.
Yeah, I was surprised at how much I liked Mirage. Like he wasn't like annoying. You know how like a character like that could probably get real annoying?
I just think it was like as soon as they hit the scene where, like, you know, the journey into mystery scene, like where it's him and his I love that part where his brother, when it's like he's just like, I gotta go do this, and his brother's like, let me go grab my things.
Yeah.
He's New York guy. He said, let me go get my stuff. He's just like, you can't come. You have sickle cell anemia. You can't come.
Yeah. But yeah, I was worried what they were going to do with Mirage, what they did with Jazz in the Bay films, where he was just like this annoying, like, but
is that not a product of the time?
Right.
Where they didn't know how to... I mean, they don't have a race, but we all know what Michael Bay did to that character. So.
Yeah. So I was a little worried that's what they were going to do with Mirage, but he was charming, he had a lot of heart, and then his sacrifice scene was really well done, I thought.
Best car bit. This is actually one we can use.
I liked the miraging when he was escaping from the cops, and like he'd split into 5 cars, and the cop was like, "What is happening?"
I do like when, you know, when Noah was like riding on the back of B, using him as like a hoverboard essentially, like just to drive away. I thought that was pretty
also
fun.
I love that Scourge transformed into an evil semi truck.
Yeah, yep. Some would say I'm the reverse. It's something that Megatron should have been doing this whole time, but he just never had the balls to do it because he knew Optimus would kill him for even thinking about it. So put some respect on Scourge's name. Best boss battle.
Mirage versus Scourge. Yeah. I really like that.
That is the definition of a boss battle. So good stuff.
Like Mirage using his mirages and kind of putting Scourge off his kilter, but then Scourge obviously figures him. It's very like Loki Thanos, but like expanded, where like Loki tries to do the bait and switch on Thanos and it doesn't work. Like it was a similar kind of result.
Right. Favorite cameo. There's not really a cameo in this movie. G.I. Joe. It's the best camp. Insane, man.
You can't really top that.
Best bit in this movie.
Optimus Prime being a vengeful maniac.
It's good. It's good stuff. Man, this guy just is all about that action 24 hours a day. He's so much different from the Transformers cartoon. Like, he's like full out. If there's vengeance to be had, he's gonna have it. Like, he just doesn't care.
He's the spirit of vengeance.
He is the spirit of vengeance. I can see why Quintessa chose him to be her avatar for a little bit to go back and kill everybody. But we don't talk about the last night. Oh man, what is the best bit in this movie? Oh, there was a bit, the breathing bit from the first part of the movie. It's kind of funny. Gotta work on those breathing exercises, man. I don't need to work on breathing exercises. Best set?
I don't know.
Is it just 90s?
The museum courtyard?
Is it just 90s New York?
Yeah.
I think it's just 90s New York is good. Good set design for 90s New York as well. I thought that was pretty cool. Best heat check performance?
Noah's buddy.
Yeah.
that they do the little robbery bit. Mm-hmm. Played by Toby and I wasn't ready for that. What else is he in? He's not in much. Mm-mm. He's not really. Oh, he's a He's a musician. That would be why. That's cool. Yeah.
What's the best heat check performance? His little brother's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think his little brother's pretty good. I think he's the heart of the movie, essentially, the emotional bit. He links him to Mirage, and makes it credible that they're like, the new Sam and Bumblebee. So I think his little brother's really good. And his little brother gets him on his hero's journey. His little brother probably has my favorite line in this movie. And I like that little bit in the hospital when he's just like, what do we say? Bros before hoes. He's like, no, not that. Not that. Funniest moment in this movie. See, if we were doing this on a Bay movie, it would be like, what's the most unironically funny moment in this movie?
What is the funniest moment? What moment got me laughing the most? Something with Mirage, probably.
I know exactly what it was with Mirage. When Mirage was talking about them being bros when he went to his house.
Yeah.
And he's just like, come on. He's like, we're work friends. He's like, come on, man. We're bros.
Work friends.
He said, you were inside me. And everybody's like, what?
That's it. That's the one.
There it is.
That was good. Also, just Optimus Primal's disappointment in Optimus Prime. He just pulled the other Maximals aside. He's like, "What is this?"
We might have to split this category into the ironic one and the unironic one. The unironic one is the one with him being inside him. The ironic one is Unicron thinking Scourge is the dumbest person in the world. You idiot! There's two halves of this. God,
how was I supposed to know that?
I wish Megatron was here. Best exposition dump.
Optimus Primal explaining the Unicron situation. Mm-hmm. He's like, he's gonna unite the key, and then the portal's gonna open, and we're doomed.
Yeah, that's good. Best exposition dump. Is it just gonna be? I think it's just Mirage explaining the Transformers to Noah in the little warehouse, because it's also one of the funniest parts in the movie too.
He's like, yeah, you let me handle the big guy.
Yeah. Best source material callback. The Maximals.
The Maximals, just the designs. Mm-hmm. I really like that they went back to the G1 designs for Bumblebee and for this. Mm-hmm. And obviously in this, there's more of them than there were in Bumblebee, so I really like that a ton. But yeah, I mean, seeing the Maximals, properly, because we got the Beast Warriors in one of the other ones, but they
in Age of Extinction. But it didn't even matter. Yeah, because they didn't do anything.
No.
Best source material call. Is it G.I. Joe and Transformers being a crossover property in Marvel Comics? That's what I'm taking, because it's dumb. Best NPC.
The museum curator.
She was really scummy. Yeah, that's good.
It was classic, just I don't know anything about
You're actually wrong. The best NPCs were Rhinoc and Cheetor, though they actually were the best NPCs. Best action sequence.
The big fight.
Yeah, the big fight. That's all we have to say.
The big fight at the end of the movie.
Best song. There's actually a right answer for this. Sometimes it's tough, and this is tougher because you're pulling 90s rap and R&B the whole time. You're gonna get some hits, but
I was gonna say the Don't Call It a Comeback.
I'm gonna agree with you, and they played Biggie multiple times in this, and I'm gonna agree with you. So yeah, it just the setting up for the scene, just the bay doors opening, and then Bumblebee being silhouetted, and then he just jumps down. Don't call it a comeback. I'm like, this is wild right now. Yeah. This is crazy. Favorite musical moment. There's also a right answer for this.
It's when he mixes the Transformers theme
So yeah,
with Optimus Prime.
Yeah, so he did exactly what he did in Creed 2, where he mixed the Rocky theme with the whatever song they did for the soundtrack. They do literally the exact same. I don't know if I think that's an original song for the movie that they used. But I'm gonna go. The best like score moment is when it's over. You know, they're all getting sucked into Unicron. It's gonna be to the portal, and then they play the OG movie Transformers theme, and I was like, "Is this the greatest movie I've ever seen?" Actually, it's like they're just driving away. He's like, "Punch it, Prime," and then like the score starts. I'm like, "This is everything I've ever wanted. This is it." Favorite line in this movie?
Know this, Scourge. The next time I see you again, I will kill you, and that's a promise.
Remember that whole discussion on Twitter a couple of years ago? They're like, who did you rather follow into battle, Captain America or Optimus Prime? I'm running through a brick wall if Optimus Prime tells me to do anything. I'm sorry.
Also, huddle up, y'all.
Huddle up, yeah. There it is. Huddle up, y'all. Man.
He is not the Optimus Prime I imagined.
Oh, I should have remixed the best source material callback to the best 90s callback. That's what I should have done. But the best line in this movie, I think, is what's your name? Like, we can't use our names, like, use our code. And he's like, nah, tell them who you are. My name's Noah. He said your name's Noah Diaz. Whatever the exact line is, but you know what line that is.
Also, like one team.
Yeah, one team. Good stuff. Good stuff. Favorite world building or lore?
It's a G.I. Joe thing, man. G.I. Joe being canon in the Transformers universe.
What a swing, man. What a swing. Man. I'm gonna take Unicron not being dead. But Unicron also just being like a thorn. Like, he's just Galactus.
Yeah.
They even did the clouds.
They did do the clouds.
Favorite shot? Sometimes these are easy.
The mountain?
Yeah, just...
The cliffside, all the Autobots and Maximals lined up together.
Mm-hmm. Did they just steal that shot from the Eternals? Because the Eternals also did the same thing. Because like Optimus is where what's his name was standing, and then the rest of them just all lined up. But this was cooler. This was way cooler.
This was cooler.
Because then the score was just going nuts in the third act. So they all started lining up. I'm like, I'm just having a euphoric state right now. Favorite performance?
I'm gonna say Anthony Ramos.
So who's your favorite human performance? Anthony Ramos?
Oh, Anthony Ramos, and then my favorite robot performance is probably Ron Perlman.
Yeah. I'm just gonna straight up agree.
Honorable mention, obviously, to the great Peter Cullen.
Yeah.
And to Pete Davidson also.
Yep. Favorite character?
Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
It's still Optimus Prime.
Man. Buddy. And then your favorite moment in this entire movie or scene?
Probably just Optimus killing Scourge.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I just like the whole culmination of, that last part of that fight of like right before they destroy the bridge for Unicron, like just Anthony Ramos being credible in this fight, like and they do that one tracking shot through everything, like where he sends down all like the rest of the reinforcements, like send the others, like they do all that, and then it's just Prime, or like the best versions of the Maximals and the Autobots just going in. It's good stuff.
It's really good.
Yeah. So in terms of third acts and like big loud movies, I like this one quite a bit.
Me too.
And that's all. And that you don't need to ask for the greatest things all the time.
Right.
But if there's just a small bit of quality, which I think this movie does have, then you can get away with stuff like that. So
yeah, I agree. I thought this movie is better than I thought it was going to be. I was excited for it because I like the Beast Wars.
I was actually looking for it, and I was excited because of Bumblebee, and I was and then I was looking for the '90s setting. I was kind of intriguing. So
it just, like I said at the beginning, it just wasn't as intimate as Bumblebee, which I think I really appreciated Bumblebee for. Like, it was kind of toned down.
Yeah.
From the other Transformers movies, and now I feel like I feel like hopefully these movies are kind of catching a second wind with people. Like, I know obviously there can be people talk about superhero fatigue, and I think there is like a modicum of like Transformers fatigue, because there were so many of the Bay movies. Like, this is the 7th live action Transformers movie. 5 of them were Michael Bay movies,
and the back 2 were just
not good.
Like, in the last one, Bay movie was,
and they were like, and then Bumblebee came out and they're like, what is this? Is this a prequel? Is this a reboot? We still don't know.
Yeah. Well, I have to launch into my theory now, right? Where do the Maximals come from? Or how did they get to Earth?
The big portal?
Because of what? How do they travel? Through what?
The world key thing?
But what do they travel through?
Time?
I think that these movies are canon to Bay's films.
Oh, no.
And I think that their big thing that they're going to try to do is they're going to try to do time travel. And that they're gonna
time travel.
Yep, they're gonna try to do time travel, and then the whole conceit is gonna be like the past changed because of somebody went back through time. You know who that person that went back through time and changed everything? Optimus Prime.
He would.
I think,
probably to get a lick back.
Yep. I hope it's like Shockwave or something. Like, I hope it's not even like Megatron. It's like Shockwave just annoyed him one time. He's like, I'm gonna rip the wings off of him.
I will chase you through time
and space. But yeah, I think that's what they're gonna try to do. Is they're gonna try to do a conceit to get the Bay movies and these movies to all fit into one, and that's why they also look a little bit different, is because I think they're going to get the versions from the Bay films and the versions from these films.
Optimus Prime versus Optimus Prime.
And see which one is... Look, I don't know. Bay Prime was him. So I don't know. This Optimus Prime is... I think this Optimus Prime is taking out better enemies a lot of time, and he's having a lot more.
Well, Bay Prime is just fighting Megatron
and Sentinel Prime, but he was old.
Yeah, he was washed up.
Yeah, that's like Jordan being LeBron in like 2003, or like LeBron being Jordan in 2003.
And he fought Galvatron, but Galvatron was also Megatron.
Yeah, nobody cares about Galvatron. He had the Transformium.
I'll never forgive them for that, by the way. When they're like, we're finally putting Galvatron in one. And I'm like, cool, I like Galvatron. And then they were just like, it's just Megatron's consciousness uploaded into a different robot. I'm like, no!
You know who that is, right? That's just Quaritch in Way of Water. But yeah, I think they're going to try to do a time travel element, and I think they're going to say that what's happening in
with
this...
G.I. Joe?
Possibly.
Oh my god.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
You're right.
Throw G.I. Joe in that. Make Noah Diaz like one of the main guys at the G.I. Joe. Do your Snake Eyes and all that crap.
Are they going to link this to the Snake Eyes movie?
No, that Henry Goulding Snake Eyes movie is dead. It's never seen the light of day. He's gone. But yeah, I think they're going to try to do a time travel element to justify the reason why, like, the timeline's different. Because B was on Earth in the 40s, I think, with the Wiccan cult, essentially, in Last Night.
Yeah.
But now he arrived on Earth on 87, so I think that's what's going to happen. Like, just how the Beast Wars went. Like, they went back in time, and the Terracons went back in time and shaped Earth to the way they wanted. I think they're going to do the same exact thing.
Sounds possible. I definitely won't put it past them at this point.
Mm-hmm. And that's Transformers: Rise of the Beast. And
G.I. Joe?
Wow. Read the social medias before I have to start thinking about this.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter at ProjectINF_pod. Follow on Facebook. New episodes of the podcast are posted every Wednesday on Apple, Spotify.
On
FaceTime. All your favorite podcasting platform. You can follow us on Instagram
at the Project Infinite Pod.
Next week is our 100th episode.
100th episode for The Flash.
You have done that yourself.
I love it. I love that this is our 100th episode. Is The Flash. So
we're going to be reviewing the long-awaited movie that is 10 years in the making. The Flash. I don't even know. I don't know what to expect.
I have no idea what to expect. We're going to see this movie in a couple days, and unlike you, I'm kind of looking forward to it. And I shouldn't be, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm the Schneider shill of us, so I'm looking forward to it as a thought experiment. Yeah. I'm not looking I just want to see what this is going to be, to be honest. Yeah. A movie that has been this long in production with so many hiccups and shortcomings and
stars being arrested and rewrites.
That's just normal these days.
And I guess it is becoming normal. Michael Keaton. Yeah, there's a lot going into this movie, so it's gonna be.
Is that not the perfect representation of what this is? This Flash movie?
Yeah, that's fine. So that's gonna do it for us this week. We'll see you next week for the Flash. From me, from the Mirage of the podcast.
Okay. I'll take it.
You can't be Optimus Prime.
Why can't I be Optimus Primal?
I don't know.
Oh, you're gonna get into a situation like how Noah was when he found what's his name for the first time, because he didn't know if it was racist or not. He couldn't figure it out. I just didn't want to assume you spoke Spanish. Actually, that's the best bit in the movie. I didn't want to assume you spoke Spanish. I was gonna say something, but he said that is kind of racist. He said, "How's it racist? You're a robot."
So where'd you get that accent?
Where'd you get that accent from?
Which is also a good kind of like just kind of shot across the bow of the Bay films.
Yeah, yep.
Because like there was like a Japanese one.
Well, they said it in the when Michaela and Sam met all of them for the first time. It's like you talk through the radio for Bumblebee, but then Optimus is just like, we learn how to speak through that. Like now we I don't know why Optimus sounds like the president. And Jazz sounds like Tupac, but I don't know how this works. But
that Jazz thing is so awful.
It's bad, man.
It's really, really bad.
It's horrible.
It's right up there with the guys from Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
It's right up there. But anyway, we'll see you next week for The Flash.
And the 100th episode.
Until then, goodbye.
Peace.